One time, we successfully mated a bulldog with a Shih Tzu.
Really? That's weird.
Yeah, we called it a bullshit.
Okay, is this guy just making it up as he goes? Yep. Is it all BS? Yep. Here's Big Nate with some more BS, because it's BSing with Big Nate.
Take me where you wanna go, down a back street somewhere we both know. It's a terrible night to be alone. You've got your hands in the pocket of my ripped up blue jeans. Tear me apart, heartstrings all torn at the seams. Take a guess at the secrets I keep. Don't wanna be strong, wanna be weak, oh no. Wanna play the cards you've hidden from me. You're too scared of yourself to let somebody else see. And I want more than this, oh no. Don't take me home, I'm not ready to go. Around here than they seem. It's getting obvious you don't really mean at 19 how to love a dancing queen. Pull me in, that's enough. I'm getting way too close. You can keep me tattooed on your bones, a little memory so you don't feel alone. When you let me go, you don't wanna be strong, wanna be weak, no, wanna play the cards you're fitting from me. Too scared of yourself to let somebody else see. And I want more than this, oh no. Don't take me home, I'm not ready to go. Maybe you will stay, and maybe you won't. Love gotta know, so I can feel again. But if you're not gonna try, well, I'll carry on. Don't let me go, I'm not ready to go. No, 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 no. I want more than this, oh no. Don't take me home, I'm not ready to go. I want more than this, oh no. Don't take me home, I'm not ready to go.
That was Natalie Dean, More Than This. 1 year later, I am happy to welcome Natalie Dean back on to BS with Big Nate. Natalie, how have you been?
I've been great. How have you been, Nate?
I can't complain. I'm thrilled to be talking to you again. So, of course, last time we talked was around this time last year. We were talking damaged parts. Now, More Than This is out. And from what I understand, first and foremost, before we talk about More Than This, some things have changed in your life. And from what I understand, you're actually coming to me thanks to the power of internet from the complete opposite time zone of what you were last time we talked. So what's been going on?
I decided to move to Liverpool, England, out of all places. So I'm here now, got here about a month ago. Quite different from California, I must say, but you know, it's good. I came here for university, so I'm studying for 3 years. So should be good.
I mean, congratulations. That's definitely a major endeavor. And of course, last time we talked, and I could kind of tell you're someone who takes this craft very seriously, and it's very important to you. And major kudos. I think this is going to be nothing but good things for you. Now, when we talked last, would you have envisioned yourself in Liverpool?
Yes and no. Not Liverpool exactly. I thought I was going to end up maybe in London, somewhere a little more like, travel to. Like, I'd never been to Liverpool. I'd been to London. It's kind of a touristy place. I arrive here and right away I'm like, this is not London. It's great, but it's not London. So the culture's crazy. I mean, it's awesome. People are super nice, but yeah, definitely a culture shock.
So what's been the biggest culture shock for you?
Honestly, I just can't understand people. So the dialect here and the accent is so thick and kind of like gritty that I'm just like, excuse me. And people think I'm from all over the place, but when they hear I'm from California, they're like, why did you ever come? I'm like, you know what? It's an experience. So
what exactly are you studying?
I'm getting my BA right now in music production and songwriting. So hopefully I'll be able to fully produce myself in a few years. That's the goal.
Going into it, you're already fairly accomplished and I mean, incredibly talented. So I think this is going to be nothing but good things for you. I want to talk about more than this, though. Of course, like we mentioned, Damaged Parts kind of came out about a year ago, and here we are with this new single. So I'm going to talk about the track. I want to talk about the experience getting it out, but I also want to talk about the background on it. So first and foremost, was this putting this out? What's the process like then for More Than This versus Damaged Parts?
More Than This has sat in my archives for 2 years. So you know what? I wasn't busting at the seams excited about it. I never really thought I would put it out. Honestly, if I'm being completely open with you, I put it out because I hadn't released music and I needed something just to, put on social media, get the ball rolling again, because I do have quite a few upcoming songs that I'm actually working on and that are going to be, produced by myself, and it's going to be great. But this was just kind of one of them. I'm like, okay, it's up to par. I'll release it. But yeah, I wrote it about, of course, a boy. I wrote it about a boy, and I thought I was in love when I was 17. Of course, I don't feel that way anymore. But yeah, I mean, I just kind of look back on it as a little time capsule. I'm like, oh, that's so cute,
I mean, I feel like that's a thing that a lot of people can relate to, is the, it came from that point. And when you're at most vulnerable is in times like where you think you're in love. And you write this, you put this out, and me, just looking back through some of my past history, I would never, ever, ever have the courage to put out something that I did when I was, in a past relationship. It's just, I don't really want to revisit those memories. So, I mean, I applaud you for having the courage to do so. Were there songs that didn't make the cut that you had sitting in the archives? Like, this song about hamster wheels isn't going to work.
Yeah, definitely. I have a few that, they're all mixed and mastered, but I just feel like I sound like complete nonsense. Like, it's just like your hearing changes, your style changes, your just like perception of yourself and what you actually want to talk about changes. So yeah, 17-year-old me, I feel like is very different already. So those will stay probably in the archives.
The thing that stood out to me most about this song, I mean, it's very well produced, and it's kind of like a cross genre thing going on. To me, It feels very much so like a 90s Alanis Morissette. It very much so could fit multiple things. There's also like a lot of layers to it. But the thing that stuck out most to me of all, and it's probably so trivial, but it's where we're at, is the at the time you wrote the song, it was about a relationship with a boy who was 19, and then he wanted to end things, and then now he wants back. So
yeah.
How does that feel now? Kind of in a Taylor Swiftian, I'm coming out ahead point of view.
It's awesome. It's kind of just hilarious, honestly, because yeah, our ages, like I'm 19 now, so I'm kind of I can see his mindset now, but it's just crazy. I'm like, wow, look how the tables have turned. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's an interesting perspective to, see both sides, and kind of now I have this say, which is funny. And I'm like, I don't want you back. I have more options.
To me, that wasn't, it's not quite a revenge story, but that stands out as just something like the universe working in a real funny way.
Yeah, it's like, all right, obviously not meant to be, but at least I get the last laugh or whatever. So I don't know. It's kind of funny, not to be, spiteful, but
So you mentioned you do have some stuff that you're very excited to get out and that you're working on. Is this in the confines of your schooling, or is this stuff like, how's that working? Is it like a almost, see, I didn't have the benefit. I went to school for communications, and we were all working on, news, learning journalism, and is it more like a creative, everyone fostering that vibe?
Yeah. So just a little bit about it. It's called the Liverpool Institute for Performing Arts, and it was primarily founded by Sir Paul McCartney. So, which is really cool. It's weird to even say, but there's a lot of connections just through it. And there's just so many incredible people teaching there, and it's pretty small, but basically the point of the school is to facilitate a degree for every asset of putting on a production. So, there's a degree for stage tech and sound design and production and singer-songwriters, like everything that it takes to put on a show is facilitated there. There's no degree for math. There's no like science, which, respect it, but I don't want to be sitting next to someone and at lunch talking about chemistry. And I'm like, well, I'm writing a song, you know what I mean? So we all work together, and it's required for us to collaborate. And, I need a costume designer. They're right next door. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's really cool. It's a great environment, and just lots of creativity going on.
What's been your biggest takeaway so far?
That everyone has their own skill, and everyone's bad at something. No one's perfect at everything, which I was really scared about, honestly, going into a performing arts college. I had my own insecurities about things, and I'm like, okay, not everyone has it figured out, and we're all learning off each other. So I'm just excited to see, like, at the end of the 3 years, like what changes, so yeah, it'll be cool.
I mean, think about your perspective on that, but also keep in mind that it's highly likely that everyone else had that exact same insecurity and that exact same, oh man, they're all so much better than me, or they're so much more confident. And like I said, you're an incredibly talented songwriter, and we're very excited, looking forward to what's going to come out this year, next year, 3 years down the road. I think Natalie Dean is a name to keep your eyes on,
Thank you.
So I do want to talk about, you mentioned that you're working on this stuff. Is there anything, almost immediately in the pipeline, or are we looking early 2022? What's the timeline look like?
You know what? It's not going to be a year. That's what I'll tell you. I have a song that's in the final stages of production that, I'm just going to do a few more backing vocals on, and it's ready to go. So that hopefully will come out in December, maybe a little earlier. And then after that, early 2020. And, I'm required to write a song every week at school and produce it. So something has to come of that.
So we're going to get into one of my questions with higher education. And I want to kind of pick your brain about it, because you did bring up you're required to write a song each week. Are there some weeks where you're just, I'm not feeling it, we're going to write a song about Cheez-Its?
Yeah. I was saying this to someone today, that I've never been in an environment that is music all day long. You know, like at regular school, you'll have a music class, or if you're not in school, you do music hopefully every day or when you feel like it, when you're inspired. But this is just constant all day, which is great, but it can be a little draining sometimes. Not to say that it takes the creativity out of it, but it does put, you know, a timeline on things and just kind of, you know. So, I mean, of course, there will be some weeks that I just don't want to write about what they're telling me to write about, and I'll just have to write it. But that might also be good. Get me out of my
comfort zone.
Yeah.
So now that you're in this environment, of course, you have your background with Natalie Dean music. Have your musical perspectives shifted at all? Are there new things you're listening and discovering, or are you going back and revisiting the old things?
I'm trying really hard, honestly. Like, this is something that I've talked about for a while, but just finding my sound and finding, just what I want to sound like. And I think that I'll really discover that through production and learning more about that. Because already, I mean, I've made a few demos on my own and they're sounding a lot more like what I want to sound like. So I really am excited to share that with everybody. But I definitely think that I'll be testing new genres and getting into things that I would not write on my own, but I'll be forced to. So honestly, I just couldn't tell you at this point. I'll probably be able to update you in a few months.
Well, okay. So first and foremost, assuming the December timeline works out, I would like to talk to you again then and kind of get another snapshot and look at how everything is going. But we're all very excited for it, Natalie. And more than this, out now. Go check it out. Killer track. And thank you so much for joining me all the way from Liverpool.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Cheers indeed.